and welcome to everyone. And Lynn, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself, but thank you all for coming.
Hi everyone, my name is Lynn Mann. I work full-time for Mount San Jacinto College in Southern California. I'm the instructional department specialist down here for the business and CIS areas. And I also teach online for the CIS area, and it just so happens this term I'm teaching Excel. We are on 2007, but we're making the switch to 2010 very quickly. So what I want to get today is just to show you what's coming up that's new to Office 2010 regarding Excel. This is not to learn Excel, but to get you up to speed with the differences that are coming on board with 2010. So I do kind of would like to know, where are you right now? So I'm going to go ahead and run a poll here. And as you'll see, the poll is going to change to your letter choices. So if you would, just select which office you're using right now. So we have Office 2010. It selects an A, Mac, 2011, or 2008, Office 2007, or if you're back using 2003, go ahead and choose what you're using right now. And we'll just give you a few minutes to select. It looks like most of you are using, it's about a fair amount of 2010 and 2007. Looks like most of you have had an opportunity to select. So I'm going to go ahead and show what's going on is that, yes, about a third of you are using 2010 already, and then most of you are using 2007. And one back on 2003. So some of what you're going to see for 2003 users, there is a big difference with the graphical interface that we're using today with the ribbon versus the toolbars. And you'll see that as we move along. So let's go ahead and run another poll. I just kind of want to know what's your role on campus. So if you're faculty, staff, administrator, or you're not too sure what your role is on campus. Wow, you guys did that one. Okay. Looks like most of you are staff like myself. Should have had an other, as in, do you wear the two hats like I do with faculty and staff? I know several of us do that. And we need to know multiple products depending on what we use at our desk and what we use in the classroom. So thanks guys, we're all kind of staff and faculty and a few others. So why the changes? Now I got this directly from Microsoft training, and the changes are really to bring some new ideas that have been put to Microsoft, and they listen. Any changes that they do are really for us, the user, to be more productive. Because let's face it, if their product's not productive, we're not going to buy their product. So we have some new expressive ideas, solving problems, creating amazing results, and of course the ribbon interface. They call it the fluent user interface. And I'm going to talk about Backstage a little bit later. And now for Excel specifically, we have cool dynamic graphical representation of data. Now that's a mouthful, but we have some cool gadgets like slicers and more. As we brought in the Smart Art in 2007, we even have more available options for there. Also, we are on the go. I mean, we're doing work from home, we're doing work from school, we're doing work on our phones. So Microsoft knows this, and they want to make sure that their product is available everywhere you are. So now we can work virtually any place using our web apps, including from a computer and on our phone. And then we're working more and more together. We're collaborating on projects. So we can connect using our documents, and we now have co-authoring, full co-authoring. So we're going to examine what's new now. Let's talk about the ribbon. 2003 to 2007, that change probably disturbed a lot of us. I know my mother is still griping and complaining about it, but it was for a reason. They needed to change the interface because they added more options for us. And if you remember back in 2003, when you had the toolbars, you were digging deeper and deeper and deeper on those menus that would expand to try and find something. Well, now with this fluent user interface, it's all there for you. It's literally on the ribbon, the icons and the commands that we use the most. I don't know if they took a poll or what, but generally speaking, I don't have to search for anything. I just go to that tab, I look in a specific group, and I go to that command and I use it. It's all there for me. I'm not digging down. If anything, I might have to change my tab to get to that command, but otherwise it's all there in front of me. And it's consistent across all of their applications. The only thing that's really different is, number one, some of the commands are available in Word, might not be available in PowerPoint because you do different things in those applications. But you have the same layout, as in you have a home, you have an insert, you have a view. Those things are very consistent across the applications. You'll also notice that depending on the application you're in, that little tab of File is a different color. For Excel, it's green. For PowerPoint, it's orange. So now, what is under that File? Back in 2003, we had File. And then when we moved to 2007, it disappeared. And there was grumbling. Trust me. Where'd File go? Well, it turned into a beach ball for some reason called the Office button. Well, now we have File back. And they actually call this a backstage view. It's everything that's going on with your file. The default that opens up is Info. And it's really quite cool because you have all of your properties here. You have your author here. You can check for issues. You can manage your versions. It's all right here. Another area that's in your backstage is called Recent. And the cool thing about Recent is it will list up to 50 of your most recent files. You would change that option underneath your options of what you want to list. You might want to list 1, you might want to list 50. But you can list 50 of your most recent documents and just click on it to open it. And then I want to talk about Print really quickly. And this is pretty standard with all of their applications. So Word is very similar when you get into the backstage view. You have the same options. You have Info, you have Recent, you have New, you have Print, Send and Save, which we'll talk about later. So what they've done is they've streamlined our printing options. It used to be that you had to go and if you wanted to look at your document before you printed it, you clicked on Print Preview. Well, you don't have a button for Print Preview anymore. You don't really have a command out there on the ribbon for Print Preview. When you go to your backstage view and you go to Print, you have your Print Preview right there with all of your options. And as soon as you change an option, you see it immediately in your Print Preview. So it's really kind of, it makes us faster as productivity units to be able to do these things all in one location and very quickly. So if I wanted to adjust my page layout, or if I wanted my page orientation different, I can do it right here. I just change it right on the backstage view under Print. I can change my printer, and if my printer runs in black and white, I can specifically say black and white, and it will change my preview so I can get an idea of what it looks like. So I'm going to show it to you now. And again, there's no more beach ball. Office button is gone. File is back. I'm going to talk about some of the options, and that ribbon is now customizable. So I'm going to go ahead and share my application of Excel, and you'll see that take over the window. Just takes a second. Sorry, my computer sometimes runs a little bit slow when I'm going back and forth. There I am. I'm going to go ahead and backstage view. There we go. And here's my info. So if I wanted to manage my versions, if I want to check for issues and protect my workbook, I'm going to switch over to Recent so you can see all of my recent documents and my recent places. But the cool part about this is I have these little pins, very similar in 2007, but I can pin the item so it never goes away off of my recent. So I'm going to switch over to Print so I can show you all the neat things that we have here at our fingertips. I can print on both sides. I can print orientation. I can immediately change it to landscape. Bingo, it shows me. I can change my letter. I can change my margins from here as well. It's running slow. We have wide margins, and it immediately shows me what's going on with my documentation. If I had color on this page, I could show you what it would look like in color versus my black and white. So it's all here, and as soon as I'm ready to print, I hit the print button. So they've added some nice features here that are very, very quick to get back and forth. So let me show you the best feature ever. Now, when we changed over to the ribbon, it took us a little while to get used to the ribbon, but it wasn't really customizable. Granted, we have the quick access toolbar up there, but the ribbon, all we could do is look at the ribbon. Now we can customize it. So I clicked on my options, and I'm going to click on Customize Ribbon. And here's the cool part. If I have specific commands that I use all the time, and I don't really use the rest of them, I can create my own tab. And I'm going to do that. So right down here, I'm going to click on New Tab. I'm going to name my tab. So I just click on it, say Rename it, and say Lynn's tab. And now I'm going to start creating some icons, or moving some icons over. So it automatically gives me a group. I'm going to rename my group. I can even give it some color and such. I'm going to say, oh, maybe font 2 for some reason. Say OK. So now what I can do is there's some popular commands. I want to see all my commands. And I really like strike through. So I'm going to move that over. And you'll see strike through just became one of my new fonts. And possibly, I'm going to add a lot. Let's just go with, I don't know. For some reason I want equation on there. And I say OK. So now I have Lynn's tab, and I have all of the icons and commands that I want on here. And here's the best part. If I go back to File, and on my options, and I go back to Customize my ribbon, and let's say I'm sharing this with someone and it's pretty much locked down and I only want them to be able to do a few things, I can deselect all the other tabs. So the only tab they get is Lynn's tab. Now they didn't disappear. They're still there in terms of I still have the option of turning them back on. But all I have is one tab. No choice but one tab here. See? That's customizing a ribbon. So I created a tab. I created a group. The other thing I can do is just create a new group and put maybe strike through on my home tab. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my other options so we can get those back. And the process of adding a new group is very similar, but instead of a new tab, you just go to the tab that you want and you say New Group. So that as you see, I have a custom already there. And I'll show you what it looks like. On my home, here's my new group. I really like strike through. I use it a lot. But it's not on the regular font, so I just stuck it on font 2. Now when we changed over to 2007, we gained live preview, which was, I think, one of their best additions to Office. It used to be you had to make a change, you actually had to apply it, and then if you didn't like it, you did undo, and you went back and forth until you found what you liked in terms of formatting and such. Well, they gave us live preview in terms of formatting. But now, they're giving it to us with paste options. So when in Excel, we want to copy and paste information from one location to the other, we have lots of different options we can use. Hey, paste the formatting, paste just the values, paste the formatting and the values and the destination formatting, and then we can transpose, and then we can do just the formulas. I mean, we have a lot of options when we're pasting. Now when we paste, we get the options right here at our fingertips, and we have the live preview. So all I have to do is hover over it, and it will change and show me what it would look like. So here's our transpose, here's our just data, here's our functions, here's with our formatting. We can change or paste just the values, and it tells us right here what options we have. Now if it doesn't give you the paste options, all you need to do is after you paste, just hit your Control key and then it pastes it for us, or it will open up that dialog box for us. So pasting with live preview, A+ for Microsoft for adding that for us. Across the board, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, they gave us new picturing editing tools. We have new Smart Art available to us. They gave us, I don't know, maybe 100 different layouts. Well, now they've basically doubled that amount. We have picture corrections like red eye, take the red eye out. We have artistic effects, which are really cool. I'll show you. And we have better compression and chopping. Now it used to be when you, cropping. When we cropped a picture, that was it. Now what happens is when we crop a picture, it will gray out where we're cropping, and we can get off the picture and move on. But if we select the picture again, we'll see the grayed out version. So in case we need to go back and decide, oh, I cropped too much, we can actually change it back a little bit and get back what we already cropped. Now I've added a link here, and if you want to see the description and a full link of Smart Art Graphics, if you want to download the PowerPoint, click on the link and it will take you to Microsoft Office, and it lists every single one of their Smart Art Graphics, the old ones and the new ones. And we'll look at the artistic effects and some of the picture corrections. Yes, they are. Ran asked, are the same picture editing tools across Microsoft Office for Word, Excel, PowerPoint? Yes, they are.
Lynn, did you paste the link in the chat area?
I don't know if I can do it here. I'd have to open it. I'll get it to you in just a sec. I'm hoping that I can open up my own version of the PowerPoint and grab that link.
Okay.
And let's see if I can do that. It might stop me because I have one instance running. So as that's running, oh it is, yay, it's going to open for me. While that's opening, I'll get you that link and I'll post it into chat for you. Thanks, Rhonda. We have also a cool new feature, Sparkline. Now, I posted what a Sparkline is. It's from Edward Tufte, yes, I always butcher his name. Amazing man. Saw him in a conference once, and he is all about data, 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 and making your data count. Sparklines are that. They are little graphical representation of your data right there that you can see. One up. Do we have a line chart option? Sure, we do. But now we have sparklines which we can show right there on our data. So let me see if I can grab this link really quick for you. Sorry about that. Here's the link for you. It is a long link, but that's to Microsoft Office, just to that list of cool Smart Art features. So now Sparklines, we can see our data in visual right there. So let's play with it. I mean, it's always cool to play with it and see it in action. I'm going to jump back over to Excel, and I have some data here that you'll see. And the data doesn't mean much in terms of, hey, it's just some data. I made it up. I'm pretending I'm a video store chain, and I have 3 stores, and I have about 25 customers, and the numbers there represent the number of videos per month that they've rented. Some folks have more than others, some have more busier months than others. Well, it's just kind of a blob of numbers right now, and it's great, but what's it telling me? I can see this to better understand, using Sparklines, exactly what's going on with their year of rentals. So right here in O, column O, I'm going to grab some data and create a Sparkline. It's really quick. I'm just going to go to Insert, and you'll see we have new Sparklines. There's different versions of Sparklines. It makes sense to have this aligned. Column, it's pretty okay, and win-loss, those are kind of neat. But before I do that, I want to show you something. I have the line chart. If I create a line chart for my data, this is what it looks like. Ah! Way too much data on one graph, right? So I'd have to actually create 25 different graphs to make this a little bit, or maybe block it in chunks of 5 customers. But that's a lot of work. So I'm just going to get rid of that chart. I'm going to go off here for each customer and create one Sparkline. So it's saying, hey, where do you want your Sparkline? I've already selected O2. What's my data range? I'm just going to highlight it, but I want it for the year for customer 1. And because I'm going to copy this down to make Excel do the work, I'm going to take off the absolute cell referencing there and say OK. And there we go. I now have some graphical representation. I can span this out a little bit. And the cool part about this is I can say, hey, where's the most rentals? I select the high point. I might even change the high point marker to a red so it stands out. And now you see that it looks like it is spanned over the rest of, lots of at the end. So you can see very quickly I can show my Sparkline and show trends of how people are renting videos. And again, the data doesn't mean much, but you can definitely see the Sparkline in action here. If I needed to change the Sparkline, I can change it to a different version, let's say column. And that will show me, hey, where's my high month, where's my low month. I like the line. So I'll go back to line. There we go. Those are Sparklines. Now let me show you some picture tools over here. I have a little picture here of a little pony. And as long as I have the picture selected, I get my picture tools. Click on my formatting. And I want to show you some artistic effects. We have some chalk drawings. I can change it to a chalk drawing. I can change it to a pixelation. Maybe I was doing some cross stitching and I needed it to show me which color would be what. The funnest one, I think, and I have no idea when I would use this, but plastic wrap. It looks like what it would be in a packaging, a plastic packaging. I have no idea what I would use that for, but for some reason I really like that one. And if I want to go back to my regular picture, I can take all of those effects off. I can change my colors, but here's where they added a new concept as well of removing the background. Perhaps I just want this pony, but I don't want the background. So again, my picture is selected, and I'm going to remove the background. That's pretty close. In fact, hey, I only have a little bit more to remove. So what I do is I'm going to mark any areas that I want to keep. So it looks like it accidentally took off a leg here, and all I'm doing is crossing over the path that I want to keep. And that looks good. And now I'm going to mark the areas that I want to remove. And I just diagonally choose whatever I don't want. I don't want this little guy over here. And that's pretty good. Of course, if I wanted to spend more time, I could kind of wheedle it down even more and more and more, but that's good enough. I'm going to say keep changes. And now I have this pony floating in the air, and perhaps I want a picture style. So I just chose a picture style, and there I have my pony. So we have some cool artistic effects, and we can remove the background. For the line drawing, if you want a line drawing, there are some pencil shading, there's some chalk, there's, or as in, do you mean line drawing as in the framing of it? No. No, the artistic effects are just the top coating of what you're doing to the picture or clip art. You can do this to clip art as well.
Yes, I'm in individual pictures.
Say that again? I missed that one. Sorry about that. So that's picture tools. Let me go back. I'll jump back. So now we're getting into the heavy-duty stuff of what they've improved with Excel. Now, I don't want to get into the technical stuff of they increased.
Hey, that board thing, will it fit in the corner over there?
In the, I got someone chatting in my ear. Sorry about that. If you need more speed to deal with some high calculations, it has it in there. It deals more accurate with functions that are pre-built. So that's all the technical stuff. I'm kind of doing the user stuff that they've improved. So one of the things that they've really improved upon are pivot tables. And in 2003, I remember teaching 2003, and my students would just cringe when we got to pivot tables because it just didn't seem very intuitive. When we moved to 2007, it became really easy to create a pivot table and start. All you have to do is drag and drop your elements into the spots you wanted, and it changed it. It was great. Now they've enhanced it even more. And I'm going to show you repeating labels, which means right here, sometimes we have one heading, and then we would have the breakout, and we wouldn't have these secondary labels where it says US, 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 US. Now we do. We have the option of turning that on and off. Show values as. We had that before, but it was down deep. And lots of folks didn't use it because it was so far down deep into building your pivot tables that we forgot that it was even there. Now it's on. It's right there, right in front of your face, and it's really simple to apply it. And then we actually have now our interactive control on our chart. So where we had our pivot table chart, we had the filtering off to the side in our field list. Now it's literally on our chart, and you can decide to show these or not. We also have slicers. Oh, I love slicers. They are that filtering capability that you had in your field list, but they're on your data sheet now. They're completely interactive. You'll be hearing about dashboards a lot in the upcoming years. Dashboards are huge, to where you create a document, you build this dashboard that's interactive using filters or charts, and I'll show you a dashboard. And then your user gets to manipulate the data at that superficial level.
Okay.
Lynn, I think I'll put us in lecture mode.
Thank you. We've also enhanced our options in conditional formatting. And I'm not really going to kind of show you this because conditional formatting is conditional.
All attendees have been muted. You can unmute your line by pressing *6.
Thank you. The options that we have increased. So where we used to have just dots or stoplights, we now have these cool little stars, and we have more options for the bars that remind me of AT&T bars. And we have like the filled circle. So we have more options for our conditional formatting, including not only an icon set, but also for our data bars. We have more color options, and we have more color options for our color scales. So just more options there. Nothing's changed in terms of applying it except just more options. So let me show you these in action. And I've already showed you Sparkline. So let me go ahead and show you the pivot table. And again, I'm not teaching pivot tables, so I'm going to build one super fast and just show you what we can now change with it. So remember our good old store data. I'm just going to grab all my data, go to Insert, Pivot Table. That fast. I've just now built a pivot table. And I'm going to put in the store and the customer and the first quarter of data here. So right now, you see that store 1 has some customers underneath it, and store 2 has some customers, and store 3 has some customers. Well, that's great, but perhaps I actually want to see the name of the store next to the customer number. I can do that. So all I'm going to do is change. I'm going to right-click on the store label, go to Field Settings. Here's the tricky part. Go to Layout, and you have to have it in tabular form. And I'm going to repeat the item label. And now you'll notice that I have my label for every single item. Now the neat part about this is if I had quite a few on my row as well, where it said, oh, I'm grabbing videos versus DVDs. And it was videos for January, February, March, and DVDs for January, February, March. I could say video for January, video for February, video for March. And that might make sense to lay it out that way. So if I don't want my repeat labels on, I can still go to my field settings, go back to my layout, and turn them off. It's real simple. The other thing I wanted to show you here is that show value as. So really quickly I'm going to create a calculated field, and I just want my, I don't know, maybe my quarter 1 data, and it's going to be the sum of January, February, and March. I'm going to add this. Okay, so now I have the total for quarter 1. That's great, but perhaps I want to know what percentage of store 1 was for the total, and I want to know what percentage of store 1 was customer 3, what percentage of store 1 was 7, so on and so forth. So how I would do that is right here, show values as. It's right there on my ribbon now. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to say percent of parent row total. If I wanted just grand total, I can do that. But I actually want to show store, their percentage as the total, but I want the individual customers a percentage of each store. So that's parent row total. And there we go. And I put it on the wrong one. Sorry about that. I'm going to redo it just so you can see. Here we are. So store 1 is 24%, store 2 is 38%, but their customers are 22, 14, 5, 18, so on and so forth. So it's really handy now that it's there. So that is really simple to do. I mean, quick and easy. So let me go ahead and show you real quickly that I want to build a pivot chart. And I'm just going to do a column real quick, and I'll show you that now I have my filtering right here. It's on my sheet. So if this was on a different sheet, so let's say I want to move it to a new sheet, and it's all by itself. New sheet, there we go. I don't have to go back to try and filter it. I can get off my field list right here, and I can say, okay, my values, I actually don't need January, so I can filter that down. Or I can say, just show me 3 customers here and say, okay. And it's right on my sheet. If I don't want to see that, then I don't have to show my, it's on Analyze, don't show my field button, so hide all. If I want to see them again, I just turn them all on. There we go. So it's right there at my fingertips, saving me time and cleaning up my workspace. Let's go back here. And of course it relates to my pivot table. So I said I wanted to show you what a dashboard looks like. I'm not going to build one. They take a little bit of time to build, and my data is just not really strong enough to build one. But let me show you what it would look like to build a dashboard. Here's some data, just boring data. And they've built, this is not mine, so I don't want to give me credit. I just pulled this off of the internet just to show you. They built 4 different pivot tables. And from those 4 different pivot tables, they build their corresponding charts. Okay. And they created this cool dashboard. Now let me just shrink it down just a little bit so you can see all of it. These guys are slicers. And I'll show you how to build a slicer just really quickly. But these are the charts. And so I'm the user, and I decide, you know, I really just want to see the information for September and October. It immediately changes that data. I didn't have to play with the data. I didn't have to play with those pivot tables individually. Those slicers are right there for me to use. And perhaps I wanted a couple minutes round out, so there we go. And you'll see that it's on the fly. It shows me the data I need to see. And the user has the power. And I can completely see building one of this, giving it to for a presentation, say, oh, that scenario? Sure, let me show you that scenario. So dashboards are big, big, big. So let's see what the filter is now. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my chart, and I'm going to turn back on all my customers just so it's easier that way to bring back my customers. So right here in the options, insert slicer. So I can insert a slicer, and it asks me what slicer do you want. I'm going to say, give me a store, give me with customers. So it gives me 2 slicers. And that's okay, but having it the same color could be confusing. So I'm going to change my store to maybe a red and customer to a green. I have all these cool little colors. Maybe I want it darker. There we go. That's kind of nice. And so these are my filtering right here at my fingertip. I can shut down that list, and we can do that. And I see there's someone asking me about Excel Ribbon Hero. And I know you're curious about that. Excel Ribbon Hero is a game. And what it is a free, it's from Office Labs, which is a division of Microsoft. You can download it for free. It's for all of your applications, or it's for at least PowerPoint, Word, and Excel. I don't think it's for Access yet, but they're working on it. And it's just for practice. It gives you a scenario, and if you complete it, you get points. So I was using that for a class that I'm teaching for students to practice some technology little steps. So for instance, it might say, create a pivot table, and then I get points for that. So it's a game that is really kind of fun to learn Excel. So that's what Excel Ribbon Hero is about. Okay, so far I know we've covered a bit, so I do want to give you the moment to digest it a little bit and see if you have any questions up to the point that we've covered so far. Okay, so let me talk back to presentation. And remember when I said that we can work from almost anywhere? Well, what that is web apps. And what I like to call Excel Lite. That is not the term Microsoft uses. That's not the term anybody uses, except I use it. It's Microsoft, it's Word, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Excel, the Lite version. You can view, you can edit, you can create, you can share, you can work together on your documents at the same time using Excel in the web app. Now how do you get to web app? Well, it's through Microsoft Live. It's real simple. You just create a Live account. I have one. I use my MSJC email. You can either get a new email or you can have it tied to an email that already exists. So here are the key features. You can share it. You can co-author. It's usable in multiple browsers. And here's the point. When I'm using it and I want to share it and have collaboration, I can have multiple people using the same document and making changes at the same time. That's key. For instance, if you all are in a group with me and we're talking about it, and Denise says, hey Lynn, I need to change this cell. I just changed this cell because the data I had was newly updated, and she changed it. She didn't have to say, hey Lynn, could you change this? Or Lynn, shut down your version of this document so I can get in there and make that change. No, we're doing it together at the same time. Anywhere you can get to the net, you can get to web apps, including on your phone. Way cool. You can download the web app for your phone, actually make changes on your phone, as long as you have a smartphone that is, and then you put it right back up on SkyDrive. It's really, really simple. So here it's connected to the mobile. Very easy. You're syncing, and really cool high-tech stuff. So remember when I said I was going to chat about the send and save? Well, here's the time to chat about it. Right here, the second one down, link to the web, save to the web, that's where it would immediately send it to SkyDrive when you're logged on. So you can send it as an email attachment. That's great. We had that before. But this saving to SharePoint and saving to the web, these are so handy to be able to communicate back and forth and update things very easily. Now this is not when you're in that collaboration mode, because you have to be using your documents in the browser itself. This is, hey, I've worked on my document and I want to ship it off to my SkyDrive. So let me show you what it is. So let me go back to that silly document I'm working on. And I want to save it. So I'm just going to go to File, my Backstage view, go down to Save and Send. I'm going to save it to the web. And it's going to retrieve the locations that I'm linked to. And it just by chance, I'm already logged into my SkyDrive. If I wasn't logged in, let's say I wasn't Lynn Mann, I just put in my credentials. It immediately opens up my SkyDrive. And I can save it in one of these files. So let's say here's an old file, old folder, and I say save. And bingo, it saves it up there. I'm still on my desktop, but it's saving and syncing with the one up in SkyDrive. So I had a question. Is web app safe from hackers? The web app is located behind Office Live, or Microsoft Live. And this is about as much security as I know regarding that. Is if you have a Hotmail account, it says secure as a Hotmail account, because when you enter Windows Live, it is your Hotmail account. It is your Office Online. It is all of these areas all in one place. So it's as secure as Hotmail. So can it be hacked? I think everything can be hacked if you get enough time and you get somebody that's dedicated to do it. But on the whole, it's pretty safe. And then web apps available from any mobile OS, iPhone, Android, Windows Mobile? Yes. Windows Mobile? Yes, yes, yes. I can definitely say yes. Android is only available on the newer versions of the Droid, so the first generation of the smartphones, no. The newer versions like the Droid X and some of the newer, and I don't know all of them, I'm sorry, the HTCs and the new versions, it does have to be the 2.0, but even my Droid 1 with a 2.0 running Android, it doesn't work on that. So they do have a list on their website on what phones are compatible. And then with iPhone, yes. Some of the iPhones are compatible and some of the Blackberries are compatible. But again, it depends on what OS you're running. And they give you a whole long list of what it is. Oh, Blackberry, I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that one. But it is available for Android. It's available for Windows Mobile. And is it available for iPhone? I want to say yes. I just kind of looked at it this week to refresh my memory on what was available. I want to say yes, but double check the website when it comes to web apps. You can do a search on the Microsoft Office regarding web apps, and it gives you a list of every single phone that it will work with the OS. So that's how you save it. So now I'm syncing back and forth with the version that's online. So let me get back to the presentation here. And I do want to show you what it looks like. Now, I'm not sharing my document, but if I was in web app, you would see right down in the little lower corner how many people are editing that document and what web app looks like. So again, I have some links in here, and I am going to grab those links and put them in the chat window because I had several of those links. So if you do want to copy them or save the chat to your hard drive just by clicking on the little icon up on the top. So here's some additional resources. And again, this PowerPoint is available to you, but lots of great resources out there in moving up to Excel 2010. The mobile overview, the web app, how to get to web apps, how to use your SkyDrive. SkyDrive's amazing. It's 25 gigs of space that you can store anything up there. It doesn't have to be a document that uses the Office product. It could be any file. Pardon me. So here I am. If you do have any questions, please email me. Just let me know that if in regard to some question about Excel 2010, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And if you have any more questions, go ahead and either put it on your chat window, or you can, if you're online on the phone, go ahead and yell them out. Sorry about that.
All attendees have been unmuted.
So please jot down my email. If a question comes up, please feel free to ask. And if there's any other feature, I know we went pretty quick and we just covered almost the basic new stuff that's coming down the pipe for 2010. But if you have any other questions, please let me know. And I'll get those links right up for you. I'm moving over to my version. All right. So here's a link regarding customizing the ribbon. Okay. Here's a link for spark lines, how it goes through building spark lines. They're really quite simple, but I'll give you that link as well. They're all so long. Sorry about that. This link is regarding slicers, and slicer is just a fancy visual way of filtering. And SkyDrive Live on how to get there. That didn't come out as a link. Sorry about that. And let's see. Here's a webcast on co-authoring. And this site actually has some very, very nice webcasts as well regarding some educational stuff outside of Office. And then let me just grab those web links at the very end for resources. And I'll just grab them all and put them in the chat as well for you. So any other questions that you guys have regarding Excel 2010? You're very welcome. Thank you for joining today. Thank you, Dana. Glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys learned a bit, and there is more to come with Excel 2010.